Bennedict Mathurin, 20 years of age, 6'6" ish, I guess, guard out of Arizona. About to turn 20 in a couple of days' time. He averaged almost 18 points per game last season, shot 37% from three on a really large amount of threes. Almost 47% of his shots were from deep. His free throws were at 76% on a pretty good free throw attempt rate. He averaged almost 6 rebounds. He averaged a steal per game. There's a lot of things there that are enticing. We've seen workout videos of him. He's strong. He's got the size. Some might say he's got that dog in him, which of course means nothing. But why are you down on Bennedict Mathurin?
Yeah, I mean, Mathurin started trending up a bit recently. I think he was kind of towards that back half of the lotto, and now he's kind of creeping up to the point where some people have him even, like top 5, top 6 territory.
Yep.
So I mean, the thing for me with Mathurin, like off the start, is coming into the season, he was listed at 6'7", and I think a lot of people kind of projected that kind of wing forward stuff for him. And then coming into the combine, he measured 6'4.5" without shoes. So I think he's definitely more in that like guard frame. And I think the big thing with Mathurin is like a lot of his shots are coming off the ball, like in terms of, catch and shoots. And he doesn't really have the handle to create a ton for himself and create a ton for others. And I think when you look at that lack of a handle, it kind of limits the upside in terms of scoring, and defensively and passing wise, he's not really phenomenal. So you're looking at a guy who scored a high volume in college, but his scoring path in the NBA, I think, is going to be a bit more limited.
Yeah, so he really sort of pigeonholed into that one position, really, like just as a two guard, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be. It is hard for those guys who are sort of those one position defenders or one position offensive players who don't have that size. Yeah, how bad are we talking defensively here on a scale from Trae Young to Marcus Smart? Where does he fit?
I would probably put him pretty close to Jaden Hardy. I think like he's probably going to be fine. He's not going to kill you, but like I think a lot of people project his length and athleticism to make him a plus defender. But my concern would be he's had that the whole time, and we've seen him 2 years at Arizona. We saw him at Team Canada with FIBA with Team Canada over the summer, and he's never really been a positive defender. He's just kind of fine. He doesn't really do a ton off ball. His steal and block rates aren't particularly great considering his length and athleticism.
That's one of those descriptors or excuses, I guess, that gets thrown out for Zach LaVine. It's like, okay, he's got the athleticism, he's got the size, he's got the wingspan. To be a good defender, he just needs to be coached or give the effort or blah, blah, blah. It's always been that excuse. Now, LaVine, I guess, marginally improved this season as a defender, but that's 8 years into his career where he's always been a negative defender. Is there any comparison between the defensive efforts or the defensive concentration that the Mathurin shows in comparison to what Zach LaVine's done in the NBA?
No, yeah, I definitely think it's a fair comparison. I think it's pretty similar. I definitely think it's something to be concerned about, and I wouldn't really buy into the upside.
What do you make of the three-point shooting? Like 47% of his attempts were from three, which is a really, really good volume. And he hit them at 37% on a situation where he was generating a ton of offense, 25% usage. He's not going to most likely be asked to carry a 25% usage early in his NBA career. So is there a potential for him to be a 40% guy who thrives in a catch-and-shoot type environment?
Absolutely. And that's the reason that he's so intriguing as a prospect and what he draws a lot of his value from. I think the big thing even to keep in mind is it's not just, PJ Tucker will catch in the corner and shoot. Mathurin can come off of pin downs and screens, and he can, catch, set, and shoot off some movement. So I definitely think the shooting upside's there, but I think you're looking like offensively at someone like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is someone I bring up a lot, where I think offensively, the production-wise, that's kind of what I would be looking at for Mathurin.
Yeah, so look, KCP's again not a high volume guy, but hits his threes at a high level. Obviously, works really hard defensively, which Bennedict is going to have to improve on. Rebound numbers are pretty strong for him in college as well. Is that a factor of the scheme in Arizona? Is that his strength showing through?
I mean, Mathurin's like a phenomenal vertical athlete. He's just like super gifted in that term. So I would say it's probably related to him just being such a good vertical athlete. And Arizona, as a defense, forced a lot of stops. So there was a lot of opportunities.
Let's compare him to, say, someone who played, I don't know if it's, maybe you wouldn't compare these guys, but a scoring guard, sort of a player who's got defensive limitations from last year's draft with James Bouknight, someone who was in the draft process, similar to Mathurin now, was getting talked up and pushed. Hey, top 5, top 6, this is where he's going to go. Ended up falling to 11 and 12 and then really did nothing as a rookie at all. Is that play style or player type? Is that fair as a comparison?
I would say that Mathurin's more reliant on like perimeter shots, whereas Booknight's got more of a ball handler, so he's more leaning in that athleticism and getting to the rim. I think they're two shades of the same thing, but Mathurin's relying on like bigger offensive upside. Booknight's going to be pressuring the rim. Mathurin's going to be taking pull ups.
Okay. Um, he's the thing that really intrigues me is the volume for him. And even in his last few games, you look at, he had a 13 of 15 game from the line. He had a 4 of 10 from three, a 3 of 11 from three, which also went 11 of 13 from the line. Like that is just really, really big volume. And I'm just, when you rely upon that level of volume in a college setting, and you're not profiling as a number one in the NBA, that what else are you? My question is always, what else are you bringing? So, what else can he bring?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would kind of be where my question would be as well. I think he is going to be a solid connective passer. I think towards the end of the season, Arizona's point guard got hurt, so Mathurin got more pick and roll reps, and his passing, he started to show some really nice things. I think he's a bit limited as a passer because he's a bit smaller and he struggles to kind of create angles to pass with. But I think like connective, like keeping the ball moving around the perimeter, I think that's going to be a big thing for him. And then I think, eventually buying in defensively, especially maybe the effort ticks up with lower usage offensively.